Hi, and we're live. Welcome, everybody, to Tropical Nomad. Every Monday here, Speak Up Monday. This is episode number 344. Round of applause. It worked. Good. We didn't practice that, so it worked as great. So here tonight, we're talking about the launch of UpShiftsNow. Love it. Rizhan is a founder. We're going to get to him in a second. So just keep this in mind. So Speak Up Monday is Speak Up Monday Destination Indonesia. So what it's about is it's about highlighting the beautiful, wonderful things which are going on here in Indonesia, and that's Bali as well as Indonesia at large. We focused a bit on Bali, it must be said, for the first 4 years, but it is Indonesia at large. And one of the other projects, which I'm a co-founder of, along with Anastasio and Wayne, is called The Funding. So a lot of you have heard of The Funding before. It's the biggest platform for entrepreneurism and investment here in Indonesia. And it has quite a few different moving parts. It's about podcasts, it's about masterclasses, it's about networking, right? And it's about this Shark Tank-like pitching show that we call The Funding, which is also part of it. It's about how do you get funded? How do you grow your idea from an acorn seed into a beautiful tree? Right? That's what The Funding is there to do. And it's facilitating this in a really beautiful way using some incredible entrepreneurs, both Indonesian and foreigner. And that's the key. As you know, the motto of Indonesia is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which is unity and diversity. And that's at the fundamental core and essence of what we do. Okay, so UpShiftsNow, where does that fit in? UpShiftsNow is running the educational division of The Funding, right? So tonight you're going to hear from 5 mentors in that program. It's the starting 5. I think I'm going to be number 6. So maybe the starting 6 mentors. And we're going to go through what inspires them, what drives them, what moves them, why they do what they do, right? And so if you're sitting here at home, make sure you got a pen, piece of paper, old-fashioned, or just your phone or device, because you're going to be writing some notes. And remember, UpShiftsNow, you find it on Instagram, you find the website, so UpShiftsNow, all right? So to start us off, I think we'll start with everybody here, beautiful, beautiful panel assembled here. Look at them, they're gorgeous. Beautiful panel assembled here. A minute, just introduce yourselves and maybe your area of specialization, if we call it that, with regards to UpShiftsNow. And then I think we'll start with you actually, Rizhan. Okay. Yeah, why UpShiftsNow? Where did it start? And that would dovetail into some of your beautiful story.
Okay. Hello, my name is Rizhan. So basically, UpShiftsNow is happening because of Grover. And then I meet Grover in November. I go entrepreneur meetup in there, and then we tell story. And then he asked me to come to The Funding at December. Yeah. And then he asked me to teach about online business. So basically, my specialty is in online business. So I make money from in-depth, 150,000 in-depth to $2 million in sales.
So let me just stop you there. So again, I know the backstory, right? So Rizhan, what he's saying is, and we'll get into his story a little bit later on, is it under 1,000?
150,000.
$150,000 in debt?
In debt, yeah. In 23.
In 23?
3 years old, when I'm 23 years old, 2015.
2015?
Yeah.
And then you created a $2 million turnover?
Yeah, I started online business in 2019, and I create $2 million offer in 6 months.
In 6 months?
6 months.
So just to give you an idea of just how great this guy is, please continue. Yeah.
And then because I learned all my skill and everything from YouTube, from foreign entrepreneur, online entrepreneur. So basically all the knowledge I learned from US, from Europe, everything. And then I see The Funding, all the people in there is like, oh, this one is good value, you know. All the entrepreneur is all good and better than Indonesian entrepreneur. Maybe the knowledge different. It's developed country, is still developing. And then I need to make something because I want to give back also, right? Before I'm like poor family and then become like this because of the knowledge.
Got it. You know, one of the things that I found about you is that when I first met you, I was thinking Indian, right? And maybe some of you here listen to, and I see Bhavna, Indian lady background, are thinking perhaps that, hey, you know, this guy maybe is from India, but that's not the case, is it? So can you let people know where you're from?
I'm from Surabaya, Indonesia, East Java. But my grandfather, actually I'm Indonesian. My grandfather is from Indian. Great. In Pakistan or I don't know, Morocco, I don't know, because it's grandfather and I never met, already died before I born.
You know, but one of the great things about your story is that, as you said, you know, you found yourself $150,000 in debt.
Yeah.
You had a family to look after that wasn't in the position to look after itself.
Yeah.
And this was one of the reasons, right? One of the driving forces behind that you said.
Yeah.
You jumped online, you looked at YouTube, you looked at clips, you looked at how to do. And then tell us a little bit of what happened after that.
Okay, so basically before I get in debt, I'm still trying to do offline business. But the problem with offline business is need a lot of capital. I don't have access of like the funding like right now. So it's not working for me. And then it's need a lot of capital, need a lot of connection. And then it's not working for my background. And then I see online video in YouTube, drop shipping before it's drop shipping from China to all over the world. So I start and then I get my beginner luck. I sell my first iPhone case. My thought is just, oh, people who use iPhone is rich. It's just that. That's very beginner thought. And then I sell. After I get my first sell, I learn 2 years just for digital marketing, online business, and everything. And then in 2019, I create my brand, supplement brand, OrganiBee, and I create just maybe for $500. 5 million rupiah to 35 billion rupiah in 6 months. So basically from zero to, it's very fast scaling. I do bootstrapping because I put my ad and get my ad back, and then after that, that's the story.
Love it. You know, and look, we're going to dive deeper into that story. So Rizhan, maybe the last question for now, and bring that microphone a bit closer to you. You got it now. You got it now.
I got it now.
So now you're the founder, right, of UpShiftsNow, and as you mentioned, Grover Anastasio, who's around here taking video. Oh no, he's actually eating. That's okay. Talk about caught out on live TV. Love it. Love it.
He's hungry.
Right. So he's hungry. So again, there are 3. Wayne Thompson is a founder of the funding. And then myself and Grover are co-founders, right? And as you mentioned, Anastasio, who's an incredible guy, mining venture building background. He's Singaporean accent, deep voice. Like those of you who know him will learn to love him. That's for sure. So look, why the name though, right? So UpShiftsNow, why the name?
UpShiftsNow is basically it's like gear up, you know. So my specialty is like scaling fast. So I need to scale faster. Even right now, before we launch, I already have sales. So basically, we need to sell. After that, move. We need to do faster. I like to do it faster. Because right now, I think the business is different because of internet. Speed is your. So if you want to beat like big corporation, you need to have speed. Because corporation, if you want to make a decision, you need to do this. When we don't have nothing, we can just take risk and do. Take risk and do. You know.
So then what you're saying as well is that one of the secrets to your success is speed.
Speed, yeah.
Because the big corporations can't match your speed. So maybe a little download for those people watching here is that number 1, right? Yeah. Got to be fast.
Yeah, got to be fast. You see sales, you need to just move. You work 24 hours, work. Just because the momentum never come 2 times, you know. Sometimes, let's say, I built from 0 to 6 million, 35 billion. Can I make it, if I make it slower, I will make less money.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you. We'll come back to you. So if you pass that microphone to our sister. So Augustina RD, not your first rodeo. You've been on the show before. She's one of the best MCs in the world, by the way. I just put it like that because it's the truth.
Plug.
You're right. Plug. So look, my darling, if you maybe take a minute or so, just explain a little bit on your background so everyone here can get an idea of who you are.
Okay, great. Thanks, Robert, for having me back on Speak Up Monday. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Augustina Ardi. I'm an Indonesian entrepreneur. My main business is events management. I have a company here for 20 years now called Promotion Events. I'm also the publisher of a luxury lifestyle magazine called The Yak. I also do an environmental business called Good for Bali, and I'm also a shrimp farmer. So
I didn't know about the shrimp farming, right? I didn't even know about the shrimp
I
farming.
just thought I'd throw that out there.
You got to share, honey. Mamma mia.
So we also have an integrated aquaculture farm in Yogyakarta, which I was just telling you about where Rizhan was. So I have a number of projects. I guess I'm an entrepreneur at heart with the variety of things that we do, and that's what we do as entrepreneurs. We take on a lot of different projects. And I've been in Bali 25 years. This is home.
You know, so obviously I know you well, and you know, this lady here before you is one of the premium event organizers in Bali, Indonesia, and further afield. She's organized events for, I don't want to mention names, you might get in trouble.
I will.
But
I will.
Good. So think of international leaders who look similar to me. I'll say no more. I didn't say the name, but you knew what I was talking about.
No.
Right? For example,
Give it away.
so the creme de la creme is who she works with. So you really have an incredible person here who's Indonesian and obviously been living in Bali for 20 years. I know part of her family as well. Great people doing amazing things, and Good for Bali is something you really need to check out as well. Good for Bali.
Thank you, Rob. That's such a good plug.
I got your back, sister.
Thank you.
Come on. Now, Valdez, over to you, brother. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Valdez Winsteins. I guess in English that would be Winsteins. So my background mostly is business. I started when I was 18, right after school, because I tried to work one time a 9-to-5 at 17. I was like, that's not for me, that's not my life. So I instantly went into business, and I co-founded and created several companies in different types of industries, starting from manufacturing to import-export, construction, logistics. And then eventually, around 7 years ago, I decided to move more into creative space because I always was interested in photography, filmmaking. So 7 years ago, I decided that like the traditional businesses they just don't motivate me anymore at that time. So I transitioned into video production and created a video production company in Latvia and then also one in Norway. And now I'm here in Bali, and I'm also the co-founder of the UpShift, no, not the UpShift, the funding podcast as well, yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. So over to you, Sandy. Yeah.
Hi, Robert. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us. I'm Sandy. I come from Philippines. Yeah. And kamusta ka? Very little bit of Spanish right there. Yeah. I am the founder of I'm Sustainable Studio, and I'm also one of the co-mentors here in the UpShiftsNow. And I just started my entrepreneurial journey probably like late last year, so I'm the baby here in the group, I would say. But I have a sustainable swimwear brand called Kalapa Wear, and also our sustainable studio that helps brands also become more accessible in becoming more sustainable. So we create the solutions together with them. And for me, my background is coming from corporate for more than 10 years. And, you know, it's just, after 10 years, it just makes you wonder what really you're doing in life. And the whole big shift happened, life brought me here, and now Bali is home for me. Yeah.
Love it. And you know what? I mean, this thing, because there are people, you know, who might say, hey, I spent all these years in corporate, and, you know, like, but I'm in that groove. Right? It's like, I just keep on doing, I don't like it that much, but I'm in that groove just to keep on going, it's good money, it's predictable, I get my holidays every year, I get the car, the 2.2 kids, the house, the white picket fence. So then, what advice comes up could you give someone who's in that position, who's thinking about jumping off the fence, or jumping over the fence? So is there any advice that you would give them?
I think the first is to be honest with yourself. You know, it's always that challenge of facing the mirror and wondering to yourself what really fulfills you. Because every day it's easy to do it. It's easy to wake up for work, go for work, spend your like 8 hours to 12 hours that day, but you go home. I was living the dream at some point. I was ticking off everything. I can go to the next role I want. I can go to the next country I wish. But was I really happy? Was I making an impact? I think for me, the awakening was one day I wanted to volunteer for this NGO back home. It was a plastic collection, and I just wanted to support them in the marketing journey. And they actually rejected me because they said I'm overqualified. It was hilarious for me, like, I just wanted to help. And that made me think. So I started volunteering. I started looking for that. So you don't have to jump right away because the bridge isn't like a jump off, It's one by one little steps. And slowly, once you look back, you will surprise yourself that, hey, it's been there. It's been there all along, and you've actually done it already. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate you. Thank you. And last but definitely not least, Andrew, a couple of words from you. Well, more than a couple.
Yeah, hello, I'm Andrew from Singapore. I left the hotel industry like 7 years ago and started a small little warung called Dapur Panda. First 2 years, I was suffering like crazy. I lost my savings of about 800 mil. My mom had to send me money from Singapore just to pay rent. Yeah. So coming close to COVID, somehow or other, business just boomed and grew. And then to date, I have like 3 brands that I'm managing now, including a Bugis Street in Bumbak. There's a Mukata Bali, a Thai steamboat in Kuta. And Dapur Panda was like 3 locations. So we combined them into one little location now in Legian. And now currently the new project is a bar and resto over in Sunset Road, which we are opening soon, real soon.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, brother. And look, so audience here. Now, we want this to always be interactive. It's not just us talking at you, but you also coming back with us with feedback or questions. So at some point, maybe in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, we'll grab the mic that Andrew has in his hand, and that will go for a walkabout. So just put your hands up and ask your question. And when you do that, better to point at someone. Otherwise, we're going to be here for hours. Everyone's going to answer the question. So when that time comes, I'll remind you. But just have that in the back of your mind as a thought of what could be a good question now. So look, so we've got this, the funding, UpShiftsNow, education arm, this one-stop shop for entrepreneurism, here in Indonesia, right? So we've got that. So in the audience now we have entrepreneurs, some of them I know pretty kind of well. So let's just have a round of just giving some value to them, right? And then we'll come back with something else, which I'll tell you about when the time comes. So let's start with you, Rizhan. So imagine that someone here, they could be in 3 different places, right? The first place is they're just beginning or looking to begin. The second place is that they're already in, but they're struggling maybe to find profitability, okay? And the third one is that and everyone here can listen to this, right? And the third one is that they're mature, but know that they need to change because they see the market shifting.
Yeah.
So, 3 questions. I'll remind you of each one when it comes. But what advice or piece of helpful advice would you give for each one on their road of entrepreneurism? So the first one is they're just starting. The second one is they're started, they're moving, but they know they need to expand. And the third one is that they're mature and they kind of know that if they don't change, they're done.
Okay. So for the first one is for me is if they want to start or just.
So let's go from start because I think there's a few.
Okay. So the first one is if you want to start a business, it's basically it's like a sport. So basically it's competitive. So basically you need to know everything about your industry. So basically like for me, I'm online business. I need to know everything. So you need to learn about everything. Who is your competitor? You need to do more research before you start. The first one is that. And then your price and everything. You need to be a learner. You need to learn everything before you start. And then after you learn, you need to execute fast. So basically, for me, is like you need to sell first before you build the stuff. For me, is that always sell first because you build stuff is harder than selling. Let's say you have idea, you need to sell first. Sell your idea first. You make a landing page, you run ad or you sell it for somewhere, and then people buy. You get feedback. Then you create a MVP or you create your product, very small product, and then you will get feedback, and you will. When you first start, you will suck. No one no one start and become, oh, I become entrepreneur and then make million. No, I fail like 20, 30 times before I get my first become millionaire, you know. Everyone who start, it's always suck. Everything. No? You want to start boxing, you want to start lifting, you want to start everything, you need to suck first. So you need to know, oh, okay, you need to just fail fast and first start.
Great. Fail fast.
Fail fast.
MVP, sell before you even start. Love that. So the second part is that, so you want to expand. Right? You're already moving, but you know you need to expand. So how do you optimize?
So you want to expand is basically only two ways to increase your revenue. The one is make more customer. Second is ask your early customer more money. So only two ways. So to get more customer, basically you need to do marketing and selling. A lot of marketing there is in online. There is 6 ways you can get advertising. You can get also by organic traffic, affiliate marketing, or partnership with some other competitor, collaboration, and then you can also do outreach marketing. Outreach marketing is mean like cold calling, and then you can also ask your customer to be your salesperson. So basically, you give discount if you get more customer. You give percentage basically. So you have that sales one. For the customer you have, you can create new package. Let's say you have service business. You can create new expensive package or lower ticket package. So you can ask more money. If you have, let's say you have e-commerce business or product business, you can create new product and then sell it to your existing customer. So basically, you need to sell more, or you sell out more, or you ask money more to your existing customer.
Right, yeah, by the way, you're doing, so have you noticed, right? He moves fast, talks fast, right? But it works. Just saying. So the third part to it is if you're a mature business and you can see the writing on the wall of the future, that if we don't change, we die. What do you do?
For me, I close the business. I close a lot of business because I see there is no future for that. I take a risk to close the business because, let's say, basically like this. You are working in the job, and then a lot of people doing like this. Oh, I work in the job in corporate, let's say. But I want to start a business. I want to start a big business. You can't do that though. Your competition is starting business, and like me, I work 12 hours. And then you want to compete people who only work 2 hours, always get beat with the people who work 12 hours. So basically, you need to choose. You need to trade your dream, or you want to just, okay, I just want to this money. Or if you want to make big money, you need to close your small business to create new business. If you know already it's dying, why you not stop it?
Like that surprised me. Yeah, makes perfect sense, right? But it surprised me because most of the time I think, we get stuck in that saying, well, if I just change this way, that way I can have another cycle, right? But what you're saying is no, drop it, leave it, move on, because you're always going to be outpaced by your competition.
Yeah. That's also why we can beat a lot of corporation, because corporation have a comfortable situation that, I already make sales before. But right now it's different. Okay. Right now it's changing, world changing, AI coming, and everything is changing. So basically, you see the business will going down in 5 years, you already know, just close it right now. It's just 5 year bleeding, it's better just die, create new baby.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Appreciate you. So, Sister Tina, so if you pass that microphone over there.
Thank you.
So, just to remind everybody of I know the guys over here are like thinking of the answers. I can see it. When you see the mind moving, you're like, the question number 3, I don't know, I haven't got an answer. All right, you have plenty of time to think. So, the first part is that, so what advice, and again, this is from your perspective, right? And that's the important part. It's your truth, no one else's but yours. So, the first one is, for those just starting out. The second one is those who have already started, but they know they need to grow. And the third one is a mature business that sees the writing on the wall of the future. If we don't change, we die. Yeah.
Thank you. I think the first one for me, Robert, was every good idea starts on a cocktail napkin. We were talking about, business outside of normal hours, and we get a lot done sometimes in more social hours. The Yak was born in that way. We had a great idea. We said, all right, let's just jot it down. So the moment you do have a great idea, put it down, however silly it seems or far-fetched or too dreamy or whatever. Just put it down, and who knows, when you look at it in the morning, it'll formulate or have some structure or validity, and that very crazy idea idea might be the one that hits. So never disregard your first initial instinct with whatever dream scheme it may seem like. I think to dream big is part of the entrepreneurial vision. So that would be my advice for people just starting out. It's never too late to start out. I've opened and closed a lot of businesses here over the last 25 years. There's been a jewelry business. I've had 3 clubs and nightclubs here.
I don't know anything of it. You know when you think you know a person and then you realize that you don't? Like that. Nightclub? Sorry.
So,
breathe.
So, part of being an entrepreneur is know when to start it up and know when to close it, for sure, but never be afraid of trying something new because, yes, you can learn it. Yeah. Rizhan is so right. You can learn it, and especially now, there's so much access to online courses, education through master classes, which is part of what UpShiftsNow is doing, and all of us as mentors contributing to, that you can learn it. It's not a problem. For medium-sized growth businesses, I would say strategic alliances. That's your most important competitive advantage. Because when you do it yourself, you are just that one person. But when you build a block with 3 or 4 or like 6 of us here, you can get a lot more done in so many different kinds of industries that you will get the competitive advantage over somebody that's just struggling through it by themselves. So that's the advice I would have for the medium size. For mature businesses, I would say keep up with technology. I think some of the older businesses, and I've been here, I've seen everyone that's made it big start their businesses way back. And why some of them haven't moved is they haven't kept up with technology and the way that people are doing it these days in the rest of the world. We do live here in Bali. We adore it. We love it. There's stuff about it that's ancient and spiritual and different, but it also sometimes moves at a different or slower pace than the rest of the world. So yes, Rizhan is right. Got to be fast, got to keep up with the rest of the world, and the way to do that is through technology for mature businesses.
Love it.
All right?
Thank you, Sister
You're welcome.
T. So before we get to Valdez, so just remember, right, so we only have an hour or so. So we can't go deep in everything. So the idea is that you get a flavor of each one of these wonderful mentors, and then afterwards, so for those of you at home, should have come, because afterwards they're going to have a chance to have a bit of one-on-one time with these guys, yeah? So that's why you come. So part of this, as I mentioned, is to get that overall feel of everybody, and also to understand that these are the types of mentors, and there'll be many more that will come on the UpShiftsNow platform, and they're relatable, down to earth. They tell you the truth. They don't sugarcoat it because it looks good. They tell you how it actually is. Which, if you're being mentored by someone, that's what you want. You don't want someone who's going to bullshit you. You want someone to tell you the truth. And when they know that you're going astray, that they tell you straight, hey, you're going astray, in my opinion. You need to pull it back. All right? So keep these things in mind. So, Brother Valdez, over to you, yeah?
Okay, so at least I'm third and not last.
Andrew said,
Are you sweating
He's
or not?
remarkably cool because he knows the answers already. Look at him. He's like, I know exactly what to say. I love you, Andrew. Love you, man.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, wow, that's half of what I wanted to say, you know? So basically, if someone is starting out, the main advice I always give is don't be afraid to fail. It's actually your best friend, and fail fast, and try to do it without spending a lot of money. So that's the best thing you can do if you are just thinking about starting a business, or starting a business is don't overthink it, don't strategize too much. Obviously, learn everything that you can about the business or the industry or whatever, but don't be afraid to take risks. And if you fail at some point, it's just a learning experience. So try to do it as cheaply as possible so that you don't invest all of your money just to fail. What was the next one? Already established,
Yeah,
right?
so established and you want to grow.
Yeah, so if you're established and you want to grow, I have to agree, you need to do strategic partnerships. So either you find partners or you align your business with another company or something that helps you grow much faster. Like Rizhan, for me, speed was always the key as well. So every time I started a business, I looked at it, can it scale fast? And in what way can it scale fast? So if I need to partner up with someone to double or triple their revenue, then I will absolutely do it because that is the best way to do it in my experience.
And then the final one was you're mature. You can see it. It's crystal ball. You can see ahead. You know you're screwed if you don't change.
If you already have a big business, the trickiest part is the bigger the business gets, the slower it starts to move. Every decision takes a lot more time. Is too much, maybe too many decision makers involved in the process. So you have to keep your business nimble, mobile, so that you can adapt much faster. Like you can look at history at all the big businesses over the last 100 years. Like if they were too slow to adapt to new situations, new technology, whatever, they basically stopped existing. So if you have a big business, be mobile enough that you can adapt to change.
Love it. Thank you very much indeed. And just before we go to you, one thing which it's a great book called The Lean Startup. Anyone heard of The Lean Startup? Put your hand up. Ooh, that's like almost a third of the audience. That's great. So part of how the Lean Startup works is that within these large established companies, you create labs, basically, where in those labs you get to experiment. And that's your dynamism that's keeping you moving forward. If it fails, you cut it off. It's not really part of the main thing. If it works, then you find a way to bring that into your company to then impact great change. So that was just one thing that came up. So remember, by the way, another 6 minutes maybe, questions. So just think of questions in your mind. Do not be shy, people. I know there's some people amongst you who are like, I can't answer that. I can't ask that. Ask the question. Because again, if you're thinking of it, it means that someone else probably is, but maybe they haven't got the courage to ask that question. Okay, over to you, my dear. Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of questions, what I would say to firstly the ones who's trying to start up or get into it is embrace the questions. Because in anything, anyone who's building a business is always solving a problem. And the thing is, it's always endless question. One question after the other always is the way to lead the business, right? And the number two is always be in love with the problem, but never the solution. Because it's always so easy to think of like, okay, this is my solution, and get attached to it. But in reality, as entrepreneurs here, we're always constantly changing the solution. So for me, it was like a plastic-free universe or how to make a happier universe. As simple as that. That's my passion. My passion is on sustainability and well-being. But the solutions has always been constantly changing. And it's not even like something that I first thought of. It's been constantly through endless questioning of myself and the whole process. And lastly, also for startups, it's really about being bold enough, being bold enough to put yourself out there and to just, for me, everyone said to fail fast and fail quick and easy and cheap. For me, there's no such thing as failure. What I would say is there's no such thing as failure as long as you know how to fail forward. Get the learnings and move on, move forward and take it. Take it with you because that's how you become, Yeah. So for the second one.
Yeah, which was like medium size or just
medium
you want to grow. You've been in business for a little while, but you want to grow.
Optimization. So for me, as coming from marketing, you guys said it well for strategic alliance. I would always say that. But to add on to that, I would always go back to consumers. As a brand, in marketing, it's always consumer is the king. We're very good at creating solutions. We think it's the right answer, but ask your customers. Listen to them closely because they are the money makers. They're the ones who's giving the business to you, and they have the answers for you if you just listen. As a marketer, we're very good at listening to our own instinct. But in reality, for us, as like I've been handling bestseller brands, 1 billion euros brands, and always we're too high up there, we forget that the consumer's transaction are usually in store, are usually out there. Bring yourself out there. Listen to the customers. The insights are there, and that's where the money is. Yeah.
Thank you. And the final one was, as we just hear a little plate smash in the background. Sorry, G. So the last one then will be the mature business that maybe you can see in the future that, hey, the future's changing. If we don't change, we're done.
Especially for corporations and established businesses, I think for me that's the hardest customers also to change their mindset. Because you guys have said it well as well. You stole my words. So it's innovation. Embracing the innovation, but I guess the hardest is like the fear of the risk. So for me, I would always recommend them to manage the risk, have calculated tests and learning. So for us in corporations before, the biggest is always to test and learn from best practices. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same field. Get inspirations from outside and put it on to your industry, test and learn it, and that's how you innovate. Because most companies who's already big there, you've been there for 10 years, 20 years, you forget. You forget to be creative because we're always inside the box. Step out of the box, talk to people, get inspiration, test it. Test it into your business, and that's how you start to find solutions that has never been done. Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. So now we'll go to Andrew. Remember, questions after Andrew. So think about some questions, and we'll go over to you, brother.
Yeah, all right. So before I start, just make it clear that I'm not stealing what they mentioned earlier. It's just that we have the same wavelength, yeah? Okay, now I'm more into food and beverage, restaurant, cafes, even small warongs. So I may agree to some things that they mentioned and may not agree to a few. Okay. Now, when Rizhan talk about research before you do everything, for the new businesses, that is true. Do your research. Look at Bali now. There's thousands of coffee shops everywhere. There's thousands of tattoos everywhere. But they are still doing well. They can survive. Okay. So when it comes to food and beverage, numerous people that I met, when they want to start something small or something big, their thought is, my friend's going to support me. My friend's going to support me. To me, that is the first step of your failure. Okay? Same like in Bali. I mean, we don't talk about like the tourism area, like Sunset Denpasar. Tourists that visit your establishments is more like a bonus. Friends come, more like a bonus. Focus more on your customers in general. So for new startups, what I even train my staff is, any new customers that come, build up small talk, turn them into regulars, and you get to see them a couple of times a week, which it happened, yeah. So the next question was
about you open your trading, but you want to grow, you want to expand.
Okay, that I agree with what Val mentioned. So I'm a living example. Started with Dapo Panda and Mookata Bali, and then I realized that I'm just there, I want to go higher. So I met my partner, spoke about it. In fact, there's a lot of investors that came and approached me, even from Jakarta. I haven't met them before. But I select who I like to work with. You don't like to work with an investor who wants to interfere, because I have this vision of how I'm going to manage the business, and then somebody come and change a little bit here and there, it screws things up. Yeah. So I found one guy, my partner. I mean, spoke to him a lot. We share the same wavelength, and then we started Bugis Street. Yeah, so it's like a concept. Singapore's during the 70s. We distress the walls, this and that. We have old school coffee shop tables, marble top, on Bugis Street. So it turned out great. Surprisingly, first month we see profits, which is something like very impressive. People are coming over just to take photos and leave, but it's okay because they tag us on Instagram, and then we start building, and building. So we've been operating like about 7 to 8 months. Still quite satisfied with the ongoings, but a lot of our clientele or regulars are actually expats, people living in Bali. The local people from Jakarta who are living in Bali, they are the ones that visit us most of the time. Yeah.
And then the final one is, or did you answer it? The mature business, writing on the wall. What do you do next?
Yeah, the change now. Another thing is what Dapo Panda face. Yeah, 2021. We are doing Grab and Gojek during the COVID period. Yeah, Grab and Gojek. We are small little warung, 2 tables. I'm doing like average 17 to 19 million in sales on Grab and Gojek. Okay? And then comes, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was October, where they cut off the promotion. So in the month of October, sales dropped all the way to like 3 million plus. So what I did was, okay, it's time to do our own delivery. I engaged another staff, create my own delivery, start advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And then month of November, we made close to 30 million on deliveries alone. Yeah, so this is an example like what they are mentioning. You have to change. You have to change, okay? And for the food business, of course, people keep visiting you. They get bored. Like Grover. Grover, I think, when he comes to any of my restaurants, he will like, what should I order? What should I order? No, but if I'm there, I create something for him. Yeah. Right? So for a restaurant, I think, add on new stuff to the menu. So your regulars have something else to try for. Or I do things like pre-order specials. Certain menus from Singapore, especially done up, so they order just a one-time thing. It works. Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, welcome.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take in a second, so maybe Brother Itchy, or Guz, we take the third microphone from Andrew, and then it's be a little bit more complicated there because you got that one over here. I think you go straight because you got that cable there underneath it. Okay, so one thing I want to quickly do though, to remind people here, so questions. Raise your hand, that microphone will come to you, right? We've got one from Bhavna, welcome back. So Itchy, we'll probably start with Bhavna. And so choose a person that you'd like to answer that question. And just to give you a quick recap of who everybody is, so we'll do the microphone, I should have done it before, right? So just tell everybody what your sector is. So you might be online, but so each person so they know.
So my sector is online business, all online business.
Online business?
My sector is events business.
Events business?
My sector would be production, either video or photography.
Great, then pass it to Sandy. Yeah.
My sector would be branding and marketing on the sustainability frontal.
Well, I just finished mine, so they should remember, right? So basically, it's just food and beverage, food and beverage.
If you don't remember what Andrew said, you have serious problems and we can't help you.
This mic is better, right? This mic we sound more, like a professional MC.
It's just you. You sound better.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so we got, you're feeling it. So Sister Bhavna, over to you, darling.
So my question is for Augustina. So based on what I know of you and kind of what you talked about, what struck me the most is that you have such diverse businesses, whether it's like the events or the shrimp farming to Yak to the Good for Bali, and so you're also probably playing many different roles. So the question I have for you is, based on it playing to probably your different skills and where your passions meet your purpose, how do each of these business units support each other and feed each other, or do they operate in silos, which I imagine they don't, but I'm just curious to understand how you allow for all of these things to kind of speak to one another and feed each other so they can grow?
That's a great question. Thank you, Bhavna. I think my events business and my magazine business support each other naturally, just because in marketing you need media, you need publicity. We're in the age of social media where that supports each other naturally. Whatever the case is, across the board, leadership of your own business is something that translates to whatever industry or whatever project you're working on, as well as partnerships. So it's not just this industry stands alone, this one stands alone. It's your personality that'll carry over into all those businesses and your business style, no matter what project it could be. With Good for Bali, it also lends support to having assistance with a media arm or whatever. One of the best pieces of advice my late father gave me was always have a photographer follow you around. And these days, that's more pertinent than ever because, first of all, you've got documentation, you've got content, and you've got a publicity arm that's of your own that you control. So I guess across the board, everywhere, the marketing and amplification through things like publicity help each other. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sister Bhavna. And anyone question? I know there's more questions out there. Put your hands up, people. So if you grab the mic here, and by the way, Bhavna Parihar just came back from Canada, right? She's a SpeakuP Monday co-host, so she'll be back. Bhavna's back. I feel like you're going to post her. Bhavna's back. So what we're going to do, Sandy, so we touched upon branding and marketing, so maybe extending her question out. People maybe just starting off, actually do a straw poll. Who in the audience has got a startup going right now? Raise your hand. 1, 2, put your hand up, be proud, brother. There you go. 3, 4, 5. Great. Who here has got a business that's already existing, trading and making money? Put your hand up. Great. Okay. Now, who here then has got a mature business and you're sort of kind of worried that, if you don't change, you're dead? Put your hand up. Okay. Who here has a mature business that they're not worried about? All right, good. So that gives you a good frame. So then the question is for startup businesses, of which there's quite a few, and those which are already trading and making money, making profit. Barbara's question was a great question. So from a marketing, branding perspective, how would you answer that? How would you grow? What would you do? What structure or strategy or checklist, there you go, checklist would you pass on to people listening now who are in the position of either a startup or they're already trading, making money to move to the next stage?
Wow. We're going to stay here forever. Not just kidding.
So I just wanted to hear you speak. Such a great voice. It's
Thank
good.
You. Yeah. I think the first thing is always about the product. So innovation on your product is a challenge for most people these days. But in reality, with digitalization, everything is possible. So how can you constantly innovate on your product or service for most people? An example, a long time ago, yoga teaching is just all in person. We do in person. COVID happened and now it's becoming yoga teacher training. And now how has it changed? It's now hybrid teaching. You do 3 days, 5 days, and now half of it you can do online and you get a certification. What happens? It's decentralization. But you as a product, if you're just serving on in-person, you're going to lose out on the other half of potential of the market. So how you constantly innovate on your product is the biggest challenge of the first, I would say.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But also,
I
may add.
I knew that was coming. Come on. Bring it, Sandy. Bring it, Sandy.
The biggest is always about purpose. Because for where I am, I come from corporate, and it's always about profit. The decentralization is happening in such a way that nowadays, corporations and multinational companies, they're struggling because it's all about profit for them. Consumers these days, conscious consumerism is growing trend. And the most interesting fact is that Gen Z market are becoming more educated than we are. So that means they're demanding more from brands, from purchases, beyond just the product itself. What does that mean for people who's starting up? You can't just start a product that will solve a problem. It's not enough. What is your purpose? What is your story? And for anyone who's starting a business or a brand, that is the first thing that I would challenge you to answer. What do you stand for? It's not enough that you just say, deliver bottled water or whatever, right? Or a plastic bottle, or sorry, no, a reusable bottle. That's it. What sets you apart? It's not just enough to say the key features. What's gonna be challenged for you now with the Gen Z is how did you get your raw materials? How did you purchase it? How did you deliver in your supply chain? And how are you constantly serving your purpose? So this changes the wheel, and that's what our studio stands for. We're not just doing supplying for you. We're ethical sourcing in a way that we're treating our brands as partners. We're co-creating with you. We're teaching you how to craft a brand, but at the same time, we're helping you execute it with authenticity. And these brands who are starting up, amen to every startup, I would say, this is the biggest challenge, but also you have the power. You have the power because now you guys are challenging every corporation existing for profit. They've been there for years, but their products have been built based on need. Nowadays, everyone's looking for your purpose first, and it's a purpose-driven economy that's growing these days.
I love that. Ooh, I've got some goose pimples right here as well. So what we're going to do, because here we like to keep changing it up, right? That way everyone is with us. So what I want you to do, one by one, right? Shout out what sector are you in? Because we've established that there's startups, there's medium-term businesses. So we'll start with you, Ichi. So what? No, I know the answer. So just literally 10 seconds maximum. What business are you in? It could be, I'm in co-working, I'm in social marketing app, I'm in social media sales. Whatever it might be, just shout it out.
Okay, so co-working, restaurants, funding platform, pet care products. So that's, yeah.
Beautiful.
That's
Pass the microphone along.
I have a small business, like create the logo, design.
Wonderful design. Then yes, that's right. We'll crisscross. Ding, 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 ding. Be fun.
Hi, I'm in the tech industry, so mobile app development. yeah, like a social app.
Great, thank you. And then just pass it behind you to, perfect. And then we go to you, Tree. Yeah.
I'm in accounting and finance.
Accounting and finance, thank you very much. Tree? Yeah, just over your right shoulder.
I do agriculture commodity product.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, next behind you. Yep. Speed, people, speed. Rizhan sitting next to me. I feel the energy of speed.
I do digital marketing, services, and in-house projects.
Great, then in front, to the beautiful girl, yep.
Hi, I work in fashion, so modeling and acting, but I'm looking to start my own skincare brand, which is why I'm here.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, then behind.
Yeah, I work. I'm an e-commerce service provider, so basically we source products from China or from Vietnam. Our customer are e-commerce seller mainly in Europe.
Wonderful, thank you, brother. Then forward or back side. Yep, Amanda. Yep.
I'm doing a lot on social media, so I sell through Instagram my products.
Great. Okay, let me speak for you. Influencer, big account, selling great products through her Instagram. Good. Just help me out there.
Yeah, I'm building a startup accelerator in Bali. It's called Founder Institute. So we help startup to getting bigger. It's a 3 months program, and it's for the pre-seed. So if you have like a small business or a small startup, we help to grow, and also we collaborating with a lot of mentors and partnership in Bali to building a startup ecosystem in here. Thank you.
Wonderful. I think we've got one speaker that just went down. I know Samuel very well. Good.
Yes,
Okay,
with
so
Samuel.
skip it over. Yeah.
Game dev, game fight.
Game, loved it. Gaming. Above. Gaming. Who wants to game? Everyone wants to game. Tell the truth. Sorry, get carried away. Breathe.
So I do communications and consulting. I also run community projects and also hosting and storytelling.
Beautiful. And then behind, my brother Isaac.
We are a startup which is based in financial services on blockchain. So we use DeFi technology for help our client to maximize their wealth.
Smashing. Then, yep.
Thank you. I work for a consultancy company back home within supply chain management, and I just asked if, hey, can I work from Bali instead?
This guy's living the dream.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
So yeah, I work for a kind of corporate consultancy company just from Bali.
Love it. By the way, how good is that?
It's perfect.
Love you, brother. So just behind, yeah, mind that feedback. We should be okay.
I don't have any business. I just want to learn from these people.
Great. So no business, but just wanting to learn.
Yes.
Okay, what excites you? If there was a business, which area would it be in, do you think?
Probably commerce or...
Commerce?
E-commerce.
Beautiful. Thank you, my brother. So you can just pass that microphone back. All right, anyone else? I would get you as well, but you're like, hand up. No, I'm good. All right, beautiful. So now, is there any more questions that any of you have? Now you've spoken on the microphone. You're not scared of it anymore. Any questions? Yes, so just pass the microphone forward to you, brother. Yep, thank you. So just to lady in front. Yeah, wonderful. Great, so we'll get 2 more questions, and then after that, we'll start closing. All right, just turn around there. Yeah. Lovely. And there was silence. So, Ichi, just here, brother. Here, yeah. Thank you.
Can I ask everyone a question? Is that okay?
You see, there's always someone who breaks the rules. But you know what? Breaking rules is good. Come on, go for it.
I just wanted to know what were some challenges you faced when you were starting your business, and how were you able to overcome those challenges?
That was a question I was going to ask later. Thank you for coming. So,
All
question
right.
is...
She actually pushed the mic to me first,
Of
right?
course. Well, of course she did. We know that. So let's make it quick. So so the question is, when you're starting up, right, what challenges did you face? So choose one challenge, and
right.
how did you overcome it? One challenge. Okay, Andrew.
Okay, my greatest challenge was Bali is too scattered, you know. I tried to sell Singaporean chicken rice. Bali is too scattered. Back in Singapore, you know, housing estate, thousands of families. One stall, you sell like 50 chickens a day. In Bali, less than half a day. Okay, so I learned Instagram 2016. You know, my daughter got to fly in from Singapore. You have to do this, you have to hashtag this, that. And then after about 3 to 4 months, still starts to improve. So I have to move forward, learn about technology.
Love it.
Yep.
Thank you. So the answer to that question is get a daughter.
I have 2.
He has one free. Sorry. Cut live TV, whatever.
Okay, so for me, it was endlessly questioning myself. It was a challenge and a battle within, and I would always be the harshest critic for myself. So what I did is the companies, the brands, my friends whom I helped for, they actually were the ones who pushed me. So what I did is ever since then, I just clicked and said, I'm just gonna keep saying yes. So I was motivated by helping brands, helping people, and I just kept saying yes, even to this gig, everything. So one thing led to another, and it always leads me to the right path, yeah.
Love that. Thank you.
Oh.
You know what? Do you get the sense that he's had a lot of challenges? He's struggling to choose one. I can see in his mind, it's like, oh, Jesus, there's that one, this, oh, man, which one should I take? I don't know.
I'm choosing between the money or the knowledge challenge.
One money, one knowledge. You get 2.
I get 2? Okay, great. So the biggest challenge, I think, would be to start something, obviously, understanding the business, the knowledge, the skills to actually pull it off. So just learn as much as you can. Do research on your competition, because pretty much nothing these days is invented from zero. Everything is copied and improved. So just use that to start your own business. The money aspect, if a business requires money to start or to scale, look for options where you can get that money without, well, giving away half of your business straight away. So what I did a lot was use grants, use government funding, use these type of projects where they co-finance your project. That's usually the best thing for a startup.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. My answer to what my greatest challenge is along those lines. Lack of funding was really difficult in the beginning. I found myself doing a lot of guerrilla financing, guerrilla marketing to try and get essential funds that you need for operations and as well as marketing, which a lot of people overlook. I mean, for marketing, you kind of do need to have like 25% of your overall budget is a good ratio. And sometimes that's really hard to come up with. And we do some marketing with our events business as well. And we find that a lot of people cut back on that. So one of our biggest challenges to sales was lack of funding for marketing, I think. Yep.
Thank you. So, Brother Rizhan, so the question is, so choose one challenge, big one, and how did you overcome it?
For me, is a lot though.
I know. Another one, like, do you see is like froze, right? Because there's so many. So just choose one that comes up with it.
For me, like say for the money part, I learn more about bootstrapping. So basically, I learn how to make my customer become my investor. So I sell first before I have the product. Because of my condition, I have no money, no networking. The beliefs, I think, the belief is a lot of people don't have the belief to, because a lot of fail in, the problem is like this for me. When you start, you don't want to fail. That's the problem. For me, I shift my belief, so I fail. Okay, I fail, I create new one. I fail, I create new one. I fail, I create new one. So basically, I just fail more than. I know, like, okay, let's say how many business right now? 1% business success, right? So basically, you fail 99, you will get 1% one business right. And then one business can be big as big as you can be, So basically, if you fail, you play the gambling game sometime. I do like that right now. So let's say I create 5 business in 5 business, one getting better make me $1 billion. That's good already. So if I don't try, I don't know what happened, So, and then the odd is also good for business because the odd is like this. Let's say you fail fast, one business can make you all your debt go away and then you become rich in just 3 months, 4 months. I already done that all one business. Not like gambling. Gambling, you paid, your odd is not in there. But in business, let's say you fail. 10 times fail, 1 time you can make become millionaire, Just one business right, you can become millionaire.
Thank you, my brother.
So basically, just try. everyone trying always suck.
I love that. This is so true. So what we're going to do, right? Thank you. Thanks to everybody. So we're going to get into the closing. So what we're going to do is this. So I'm going to give one answer to your question. And then what I want everyone to do is to give like one piece of advice that you believe from your sector, from your what you're mentoring on, one piece of advice that you think would be really good for everyone here to imbibe, to create, to imbibe, right? So I'm giving you lots of time to think, because I've already got mine in my head. Cheating? Not really. So to answer your question, so one of the biggest things, so as some of you know, I'm known as a tourism architect, okay? And I'm a tourism architect and venture builder. So what I do is that I am the connector between foreign investment and Indonesia, working closely with government and private public sector. So what I love to do is to bring together Indonesians, foreigners, to create projects that have a huge, positive, powerful impact on humanity here in Indonesia. And I'm looking at my brother Tri over here, who's from Bali. Tri Hita Karana. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to go through it again, but I always talk about it. That is a fundamental success tool. By using that one thing, then you're able to really create conscious businesses, right? Which have this inertia that spins out and positively impacts just about everyone. So that's what I'm into. So I've always been a networker, always been someone who connects people together. But what's happened is that I'm really, really good at connecting other people, right? Other people, projects like there's capital, there's resources such as talent, there's projects, and there's leadership. These are the 4 hallmarks of venture building. I'm really good at connecting all of those 4 together, right, for other people. My biggest challenge was that when it came to doing it for me, I suck, right? So if it's me asking for help for me, it was like, oh, I have a block to do that, right? So over the years, you know, I've found ways to overcome that, but that was the hardest thing that I faced, is asking for support or asking for contribution from other people. Only when I got that, if I can create opportunities that impact everyone in a powerful, positive way, then I don't have the same block anymore, because I'm doing it for something greater than myself, right? Okay, so the question which I want to leave everybody with, which I'll answer first, is what piece of advice, like a closing word, would you like to give to people watching here? So as you know, I represent the funding, as we all do in our own way. The funding is about pitching the TV show. Funding, think of the Shark Tank, it's about pitching. So just about everyone at some point needs the funding, right? They need money, they need capital, other things as well, but they need that. Right? So there's like a 5-point checklist, which a friend who's probably watching now, a guy called Richard Collin, who's a great mate, and we sat down and we came up with this formula, just melding all of these experiences from the past, mainly from his side. I added a few in there as well. 5 things that you want to have in any pitch that you do. Number 1, and describe these succinctly. Don't take as long as I'm taking now on them. Describe them succinctly. Number 1 is, what is it? What is it and what makes it unique? Number 2 is, why is now the perfect time to do that thing? Okay? Number 3 is, why you? Right? Why are you the best person to represent, to facilitate this project or this initiative? So what makes you the most qualified person to do it? Number 4 is, what is it that you're asking for? Which I sucked at before, right? But what is the ask? And it's not only capital. It can be brains. It can be like missing resources, which is not money related. It could be the fact that you mentioned about being conscious and sustainable. It could be about, I need someone or a group which are conscious and sustainable because it matches up with our guiding principles, and we're missing that. So there's lots of things apart from money that also could be needed. And the last one, number 5, is, what is the return? So what does the person, if they're donating capital, what do they get back and when? Or it could be something that's non-monetary. Again, as I mentioned before, it could be that it aligns beautifully with what I stand for, my own personal values. And that's what I can get back. So sometimes it's not always investors, and it's not always about the money, right? It can be about those other intangibles which are non-money related, that are the thing that you can give back to them in spades, which gives them, tick, a way to say yes. Okay, like I said, keep it short and sweet, right? Not really. Rizhan. So each one of us over here, it's okay. So it's, we'll pass that to Tina, right?
Well passed.
We will finish it. We'll finish it with you.
Passed.
So the question now is, from your respective experience, your field, what piece of advice would you love to pass on as a parting word to anyone who's watching?
Okay, my takeaway from this, or my piece of advice for any entrepreneur that wants to get going here in Bali is, don't be afraid. Just try it. I said it earlier, you know, any idea is not too small and not too big to achieve. I've seen so many entrepreneurs try and succeed here, and if it's not working, yeah, let it go, and there'll be another idea tomorrow. It's an endless sort of well of inspiration and beauty here. And one last thing is, I found that the more you do with a consciousness, and that's a give back, there's a big belief in karma here, that the more you give back, the more will come back to you and keep spinning around. And even if it doesn't come back to you, you're part of a shift that happens and will take you to UpShiftsNow. But good tie in there, right? Good branding.
I love that tie.
Good branding.
Damn, that was good.
But definitely always, and we try and do everything we do with that, and I know you are as well, Sandy, that you do it with some sort of a consciousness, whether it be to social or the environment or humanity, because there's a lot of people here in need. So we're very blessed.
Thank you, Sister T. So Valdez, now I know you're short and sweet. So about a minute each, just to give you a little roundup. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a bit tricky because it's so many different fields and so many different personalities and ideas. But I think the most important one that I use when I do consulting or stuff like that is, don't set your goals too low. A lot of people make the mistake that I just want to make X amount of money, but it's maybe just basic living costs or something like that. And the problem is, you never succeed 100% of the goal you set. So if your goal is too low, your results will be even lower than that. So set your goals higher. Even if you fail, you still achieve more than just with a low goal.
Love that. Thank you, brother.
Amazing. For me, 3 things. First is, as we always say, embrace the questions. It's a journey that will always be questioning endlessly. There's so much things that we don't know. But the thing is, when you embrace what you don't know, that's where you grow. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, the journey to entrepreneurship is non-linear, for sure. Non-linear, it goes high up, down, like one time like super positive, and then suddenly we're like, what the hell am I doing? You know, it's always gonna be like this, but embrace that journey and it will transcend in so many ways. And the last for me, not the least though, would be to always make sure that you remember your why. Write down your why wherever you are, wherever in your journey you are. The first thing you should do is actually write down on a piece of paper your why. Why? Because many times you'll ask your why for yourself, like, why that? Am I doing this, you know? When it gets harder, you're gonna say, why the hell? And many, many tears later. But if you remember for yourself why you're doing this, it will become easier and easier, and it gets better.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Andrew. Yeah.
Okay, I got 2 words for you. Love and care. Okay, that's how I give my staff. I treat them like my own children, look into their personal issues, you know, trying to get divorced, help them solve it out. Yeah. So in return, they treat the business, my business, like it belongs to my dad or my uncle. So basically, I'm more like a bapa of Badong, because most of them are from Karangasem, from other parts of Bali. I'm their Badong dad. Right? They slog. 16 hours a day they go. I got to beg them to close the shop, and they will go like, no, it's crowded now. Grab the sales. We go on rest tomorrow. Okay? These are the stuff that I have So it's really very, very, very touching. Yeah, there is an occasion where, when I speak a bit louder, I have a customer complaining, give me a 1-star, say I was rude to my staff. But those are all part of a training thing where I've been doing for 30 over years. Certain people you can go soft, certain people you need to go hard. But end of the day, it works out for them. Yeah, so I don't care about a 1-star at all.
Thank you, my brother.
Yep.
Yeah. If you could pass that microphone back over here. Rizhan, do you have... I know.
I have an idea.
I know. Rizhan, anyway. You know what I'm going to say, but I won't say it.
Okay.
Go for it, brother.
For me, it's like for business, is basically I built multiple business already, maybe 7 or 10 businesses. So basically, lack of knowledge is the 80% of the problem. So basically, okay, you just blame it to lack of funding, lack of this, but basically lack of your knowledge, basically. If you know how you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of people will give you money. I reject a lot of funding. A lot of people want to give me money. I don't want. I already have money, I just want customer. That's my problem right now. So lack of knowledge. So basically, just become more knowledgeable and then action. Also take action with the knowledge. Just that. Just take action. You have knowledge. It's not real knowledge until you take action. You just read 10 books, but you never take action. It's same. Like you do nothing.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. So just remember, so you've been watching Speak Up Monday, episode number 344. Mamma mia! How did that happen? So remember, UpShiftsNow, UpShiftsNow.com, UpShiftsNow on Instagram and all the good old social media channels. Watch out for the funding. We've got another one coming up in March. So remember, if you're a company, think about this, right? So the funding is a platform. So this platform has many different moving parts. One is a Shark Tank type show that is live pitching. Think of the Shark Tank, think of that. Great judges amongst us right over here. And you can get funded, right? Live TV. We've got a production company on board. We're about to make a TV show. Wasn't supposed to say that, but I've just said it. So what? All good. Number one. Number two, you have podcasts. Right? But we have a podcast platform which is coming, which we started already, Rizhan and Valdis, thank you so much. That will be keeping on developing and developing. Masterclasses, which again, mentors here are all part of. Networking. So tonight what you've seen, the reason why I gave everybody an opportunity to say what it is that they do is because most often in life, the person that you need is sitting right next to you. But you don't talk to them, so you never know, right? So the fact is that now you've heard what people do here, take the time to have a chat to them, right? Because network is your net worth, right? Which you've heard a million times before, but it's true. It's just that with my network, I've never been able to work out how to make money from it. But anyway, another story. So just think about that. Join the funding. So the funding.com, bit of a mouthful, or the funding show on Instagram. Check us out. Look out for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming, for watching. Tropical Nomad, Itchy, Brother Guzman, doing the work of 3 people. Look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you to our panel, Brother Rizhan. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Sister T, Brother V, we're all Sister S, and Brother A. Because now we've done this, it's like a baptism of fire. We're all brothers and sisters. That's how it works, right? I know, look at him. It's like the light and no fans. What are they doing? It's like a torture. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Bye for now. Thank you.